All right, welcome to the video. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. Started betting on sports when I was a kid, started gambling at 17 in Atlantic City, and I was a broadcasting graduate many moons ago. I also sell my personal sports bets on brockpage.com. We have packages beginning at just $1.99. And the link for that package is in the description section below. Now guys, I'm going to handicap the entire slate of games on these videos. Not going to leave many games out. But if you want to see which one of these free picks that I give out on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some college basketball action. We're going to start with Butler taking on St. John's, and that's going to be a 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off on Friday, February 18th, 2022. Happy Friday to you. The weekend is finally here. St. John's is -8 with the total at 140. Now, the Red Storm has done a real nice job covering the point spread here lately. They're 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 ball games, and they're scoring over 80 points a game as the official home team. Julian Champagnie's averaging over 18.5 points a game, along with 6 boards and a couple assists. Meanwhile, Aaron Wheeler's making 40% of his three-pointers, and he's averaging just about double-digit points a game. St. John's is in the top 30 in the nation in scoring on average per contest. They're taking on a Butler team who's certainly not built for a track meet. The Bulldogs are scoring only 62 points a game on the road this year. And in addition to that, they're amongst the worst in the Big East in offensive rebounding. Once again, this is a Butler team who really struggles to get to the basket. Now, injury-wise, David Hodges and Bryce Inzie, they're all listed as questionable to play here for Butler on Friday. When it comes to the total in this one, Butler's going 75% to the over on the road this season. Meanwhile, St. John's is 10-6 to the over as the official home team this year as well. I'm going to lean towards St. John's -8 in the over 140. Next matchup, it is going to be Cornell versus Dartmouth, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Dartmouth is -1 with a total at 143.5. But despite being favored at home here, the Big Green of Dartmouth, they're on a 3-game losing streak, and they also lost 14 out of their last 16 ball games. Now, Dartmouth's averaging just 68 points a game, and they also rank amongst the bottom of the barrel in the Ivy League in offensive boards. They're taking on a Cornell team who won 4 out of their last 6. And they also rank in the top 10 in the country in scoring on average per game. These guys have been very good offensively. And speaking of which, Jordan Jones, he's averaging over 11 points a game along with a couple of boards. Meanwhile, Chris Mannon is scoring over 10.5 points a game himself, along with 3 rebounds. Now, Cornell's also amongst the better teams in the Ivy League in offensive rebounding. When it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of the Big Red's last 4 ball games got over the posted number. Cornell's also 60% to the over when they travel this year. Meanwhile, Dartmouth, on the other side of things, they saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Cornell +1 in the over 143.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Marist versus Siena, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Siena's -1 with the total at 133. But despite being favored at home here, Siena has had some problems defensively in front of their home fans. The Saints are allowing 71 points per contest on their home court. They're actually having a tough time grabbing defensive boards there. Siena's taking on a Marist team who won their last 3 straight, and they actually do a real nice job at shooting from the field on the road. Now, when it comes to offensive production in this one, Jao Ituka is scoring over 15 points per contest, along with 3 rebounds. Meanwhile, Ricardo Wright, he's drilling nearly 40% of his shots from 3 land. He's also scoring 14 points a game. Now, when it comes to defensive play in this one, the Red Foxes are limiting their competition to just 41% shooting from the field. When it comes to the number in this one, Marist saw 8 out of their last 13 road games get over the line. Meanwhile, Siena's gone 60% to the over in their own building. I'm going to lean toward Marist +1 in the over 133. Next matchup, it is going to be Missouri versus Mississippi State. And that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Mississippi State is minus 10.5, totals 134. Now, Mississippi State has been really good at home this season. They're actually 12-2 straight up in the Humphrey Coliseum. And they covered the point spread in over 64% of those home contests. Iverson Molinar scoring over 18.5 points per contest, along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Meanwhile, Garrison Brooks is averaging 11 points a game himself, along with 6 rebounds. And speaking of boards, Mississippi State is currently in the top 20 in the nation in defensive rebounding per contest. They're taking on a Missouri team who lost 7 out of their last 10. They're also winning only 22% of their road games. Now, the Tigers are allowing 76 points a game away from their home court, and they're also having a tough time guarding the 3-ball in that same category. Now, when it comes to offensive production, or lack thereof, Missouri scores just 62 points a game on the road, and they're shooting only 28% from beyond the arc this season. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Missouri's last 4 got over the line. Meanwhile, Mississippi State went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Mississippi State minus 10.5 in the over 134. Next matchup, it is going to be Northern Kentucky versus Detroit, 7 o'clock East. Detroit's -2 with the total at 137. Now, Detroit's won 5 out of their last 8 ball games, and they're actually undefeated at home. The Titans are averaging 87 points a game on their home court, and they're drilling a staggering 47% of their three-pointers at Callahan Hall. Madut Akech is making nearly 40% of his 3 balls and also averages 13.5 points a game. Meanwhile, Antoine Davis, he's averaging over 23 points per contest himself, along with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Now, Detroit's in the top 15 in the nation in home scoring per contest. They're taking on a Northern Kentucky team who's playing just .500 basketball on the road despite how good they've been recently. As a matter of fact, the Norse is averaging only 66 points a game when they travel, and they're making just 40% of their field goals away from their home court. Now, total-wise, Northern Kentucky's 5-1 of the over in their last 6 ball games. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Detroit. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Meanwhile, the Titans on the other side of things, they saw their last 4 straight at home get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Detroit -2 in the over 137. Next contest, it is going to be Ohio versus Kent State. And that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Kent State is -1 with the total at 134.5. Now, the Golden Flashes are on a 7-game winning streak, and they're also allowing only 61 points a game at home. They've been very good defensively in front of their home fans. As a matter of fact, Kent State is limiting their competition to just 38% shooting from the field in their own arena. Now, scoring-wise, Sincere Carey is averaging over 17.5 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Malik Jacobs, he's averaging 11 points a game himself, along with 7 boards and 3 assists as well. Kent State is averaging 75 points a game on their home court. They're taking on an Ohio team who failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6, with failures coming against the likes of Central Michigan, Western Michigan, and Toledo. As a matter of fact, that Toledo game was a 15-point outright loss to the Rockets, where they were held to just 62 total points. That was an absolute beatdown. Now, the Bobcats are scoring only 67 points a game when they travel, and they're making just 39% of their field goals in that same category. So although Ohio's been really, really good this season, there are several problem areas that I'm certainly concerned about. Now, injury-wise, Wilson is still out indefinitely. Carter and McDay are questionable. When it comes to the total in this one, Kent State is 60% to the under on their home court. They're also 65% to the under for the entire season at any location. Meanwhile, Ohio's 9-2 to the under when they travel themselves. I'm going to lean toward Kent State -1 in the under 134.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Penn versus Yale. 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Yale's -4.5 with the total at 144. Now, Yale's on a 6-game winning streak, and they're getting the W in 80% of their home games. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Bulldogs are averaging nearly 80 points a game at home, and they're making over 79% of their free throws in that same category. Azar Swain is scoring nearly 20 points per contest, along with 4 rebounds. Meanwhile, Jalen Gavadon is scoring 11.5 points a game, along with 3.5 boards. When it comes to defensive play in this one, Yale's limiting their competition to just 40% shooting from the field on their home court. Now, they're taking on a Penn team who's winning only 33% of their road games. Now, the Quakers have also had major issues defensively on the road. They're allowing over 77 points a game in their travels. Now, total-wise, Penn saw overs recently with Harvard, Dartmouth, and Brown. Meanwhile, Yale's gone 60% to the over at the John Lee Amphitheater. I'm going to lean toward Yale -4.5 and the over 144. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me for part 1. Be on the lookout for part 2 in the next couple of hours or so. But with that, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And guys, real quick, if you're thinking about getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on my website, you are going to get access to those picks all the way through the end of February. It's a one-time fee. You're not going to get billed every day. You just pay up front. You get access to that content all the way through the end of February. And guys, if you want to get access to every single pick that I give out on that website, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member tier package. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday or Friday to you, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.